my mum, but I don't wanna see her right now, cause she's gonna take one look at me and worry about my lifestyle. Don't worry about my lifestyle. You know your son's gotta go. I got this whole thing under control. Yes, I'm losing weight and my eyes are red. Maybe cause I'm a man that lies in bed, racking my brain for answers, cause I've been out here running my mouth, chatting about progress. They say it's a process, but I want it right now, so I gotta live this way, because to play the boss you gotta pay the cost, and that cost might come as a major loss, and that's just the life I chose. Don't trust no one, I get no peace. Everyday petrol from west to east. I love to sleep, I love to eat, but I don't get no rest or feast, and that's the reason I ain't afraid of my foes. Jumped on the grind and I stayed on my toes, and mama, believe it or not, couple man got a problem with me. Some of the man them want rob them for me, so every time I start writing songs I gotta face the things I've been hiding from. They wanna ride or die, tell them ride along. Just know that it's real when it filled. I don't wanna hear no crying or moaning. I ain't got time for no sighing or groaning. You gotta be down to grind on your own thing. Just follow the leader, come follow the leader. You gotta be accountable for your own decisions, or you won't get no sorrow with me, dog. Follow the leader, come follow the leader. You gotta be accountable for your own decisions. You won't get no sorrow with me, dog.
Round, round we go,
follow
and
the leader.
it's down, down we fall.
Follow the leader.
Round, round we go.
Follow
if
the
we're
leader.
dying on the inside, how we gonna live right? Round, round we go, and it's down, down we fall. Round, round we go. Keep your flowers in the sunlight. I just gotta live right, right. Flowers by the doorstep, I don't know where they're from, and how did we all get here, yeah, and where do I belong? And anywhere the wind blows, you'd have me turn to stone, but the sunlight in the window telling me you're wrong, you're wrong.
Just follow the leader, come follow the leader. You gotta be accountable for your own decisions, or you won't get no sorrow with me, dog. Follow the leader, come follow the leader. You gotta be accountable for your own decisions. You won't get no sorrow with me, dog.
Round, round we go,
Follow
and
the
it's
leader.
down, down we fall.
Follow the leader.
Round, round we go.
Follow
if
the
we're
leader.
dying on the inside, how we gonna live right? Round, round we go, and it's down, down we fall. Round, round we go. Keep your flowers in the sunlight. I just gotta live right, right.
Hello, happy Monday afternoon or nighttime, depending on where you're at, or early Tuesday morning. Who knows? Some people that watch from Korea. So, we're chilling on a Monday afternoon. I just woke up 34 minutes ago. I got a new video game. Okay, I played it last night. It was fun. I had a good time. Also, the market started dropping, so I just sit there and watch that. That's always exciting. That's what we're waiting for. My life revolves around. Here we are. Go ahead and pop out the chat, and then throw this up, and should be good to go. Howdy doody! How we doing? So let's go ahead and jump into it. I think what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to start with blank charts, pretty much across the board. Start from the macro, redraw the macro every single day because it seems like that needs to be said constantly. So let's go ahead and start the macro for BTC, and then we'll work our way through the market, and then we'll talk about bullshit, because that's my favorite part. So I kind of rush through the TA. All right, so the strongest local low that we need to be aware of is 28,806. For the market to get truly bullish, we do have to get back above 33,145. That's really the only two regions that we care about right now. So the time to be bearish was when we were getting below local highs. Okay, right now, yeah, okay, so I get the call, the beckoning. Okay, downside price action is realized. That's when people start to get bearish. But trust me, guys, the time to be bearish is when nobody's bearish. Right? Right now, if you look across the board, we look at YouTube, pretty much all these YouTubers. All right, obviously the YouTuber side of thing, people are starting to be more bullish, but aren't they always? All right, and then if we look at like the common man, we're typically seeing like people talking about us going tremendously lower. Now, do I agree with them? No. Do I not agree with them? No. All right. Like I said, I don't care what the market does. I prepare for the worst, but plan on the best. Okay. Or you can vice versa. That works either way. All right. So right now I am macro long on BTC from inverse perpetual, and I would love to get a position on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has yet to give me that, so I am still waiting on the sidelines for Ethereum, but so far so good. We'll see what happens. All right. Now, if we cut down to the smaller time frames, let's go ahead and cut down to the 15-minute here. All right, what did we have last night? All right, so past couple of days, we had this uptrend, which did have an ABC within it, which I tried to play, did not end up working out. Like I said, the smaller the time frame that you go down to, the less likelihood you'll start seeing those targets. All right, so we had a downtrend from the top of this ABC formation here, and then that created a B wave. So once again, it's about preparing. We mentioned this on last live stream. Right, if we have an uptrend and we have a downtrend, we can prepare for a higher high with a new uptrend, creating a larger ABC. The C wave does not have to exist yet in order for me to see it as a possibility. All right, so once we got that higher high and we created this ABC, I did take a short from about, what did we take it on? Yeah, 30,970. So pretty much exactly where we should have. Actually even a little bit higher because USDT was, I guess, yeah, 30,970 is pretty much the exact entry point. Now, I'm looking to take my profits once we get back down around the 0.5 to 0.382, right? Because once again, I think the reason why ABCs work so well is because they're suckering people, right? People try to take a breakout trade above this, they get rocked, causes an avalanche to the downside. People try to take a breakout trade once we break 28,632, and then yeah, it does come down a little bit, and then obviously if we get forced back above that, they start to get liquidated. It starts an avalanche to the upside. So right now, I mean, I guess you can consider it shot, but this is pretty much textbook. All right, now I do see that on the small time frames, 15-minute, we do have an A, a B, and a C. I get that. All right, now once I said, all right, that could be the bottom. I really don't care. I do have to wait for my targets to be hit because that is what's likely based on past performance. All right, doesn't mean that's going to happen, but that's what I'm willing to wait for. But Austin, take your profit now. All right, same person was screaming that yesterday, telling me to go short when we were all the way down here. I was patient. I waited. I took my short when I needed to take my short. All right, the market tells me when to do these things. Okay, if I start cutting down to small time frames like this versus, all right, see, this is different right here. The ABC that I was playing on a smaller time frame was comparable to the original one that I was in combination with the local low. All right, if I start taking ABCs that are smaller, now it doesn't mean that I won't. All right, but when you have an ABC this large versus an ABC this large, all right, what I'm thinking is maybe, all right, this ABC is creating the A wave right here, and then we'll have a little B wave retracement, and then a C wave retracement looking something like that. That's what I'm hoping, all right? And especially when it comes to Ethereum. Like I said, I really want a long position on Ethereum. I only got to get a little bit in inverse perpetual because I didn't notice that the USD chart touched 1700. So if we do happen to get a little bit of a B wave coming off of this setup, and we come back down a little bit further, because my take profit is 1940, so we only have to go down a little bit further, I can hopefully take a long from this setup right here, which would be of comparable size, not quite, but better than what we have now currently on these smaller time frames, in order to get me into a long position and hopefully see some further upside. Now that can easily just turn into a larger A, a larger B, and a larger C, which I do think is likely. All right, right now there needs to be a regrab of liquidity in this area in order to help things move along correctly, or if we're going to bottom out. Okay, now my ideology is that we're probably going to be forming like a 1-2 structure, Adam and Eve, cup and handle, whatever you want to call it, in this area between 28,800 and 33K. All right, so that's where I'm saying that we could possibly see this turn into an A, a B, and a C wave right here, and then probably have another retracement back down, and then hopefully form something like that. All right, I do think, me personally, like, this is a personal opinion. This is not the market showing me this at all. This is not something I've calculated. Right? I do think that this is not the last dump, right? But I think that people are getting ahead of themselves. They expect the last dump, right? Because they want it to be the last dump. I think we will get back up into that 45, 50K region, probably go sideways for a little bit and see another massive dump come in before the bull run. Just my personal opinion. Nothing set in stone quite yet. All right, KDA. All right, I am not in any positions on KDA. The local lows from this last uptrend on the smaller time frames are here, which technically this is an ABC to the downside, but considering the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum have not quite touched those lows that I would find redeemable in order for price action to go up, I'm not willing to take a long on an altcoin right now. So with that, we could have a further drop back down to retest $1.91 on KDA. And then from there, if I do see some sort of ABC position to get into, I do think I'll be taking that, because KDA, one of those altcoins that I have bought into on spot. And if we can align that up with long positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum, I have a little bit more confidence in it. All right. Like I said, I took this long on KDA on these smaller time frames because we were sitting at a macro local low. Right now, technically around this $2.80, $2.50 region, this should be considered resistance if we look at the macro time frames. All right, the macro time frames, the local high is at about $1.50. So we could just be going back down to retest $1.50, but considering the fact that it's an altcoin that can slip a little bit, we might see wicks down to $1.90, and hopefully one of those wicks includes a setup. So we'll see how it goes, but until then, I have nothing to do. Now, theoretically, let's say that we keep skyrocketing up to the upside. All right, I'm fine with that. I don't really care if I miss out on a little bit of price action. We already made a whole lot. All right, so then I'll go ahead and start playing the macro if that does become an availability. We had downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. All right, so that puts our local low for the A at about $4.41, 42 cents, we'll round it out. And that would give me a long position on KDA for the macro term. All right, now, obviously, I would love to see everything lining up with BTC, but if it does happen, it does happen. We'll see what the future holds. But let's take a look at the SPY. All right, the SPY is trying to get back above its local low, but this could be a retest rejection scenario. So that is kind of what I'm hoping for a little bit, because that would allow us hopefully to dump on BTC and Ethereum to reach those take profits. So if we do recover 405 on the SPY, it's a little bit better of a scenario, I will have to say. Now, technically, like, we did bounce off a local low at about 384, but it's not one of the major ones within this uptrend, so it does make it a little bit harder for me to say that that's a solid bottom. If we look across the board on the SPY, really only, I would say, about 2 supports within this entire trend really stand out to me. All right, we're going to have 320 and we're going to have 426. Now you can see the 426 local low kind of lines up with our A from this macro correction wave here. All right, so, and then the other one that kind of stands out to me midterm would probably be about 372. All right, these are the 2 biggest in the uptrend, and then this is the middle way comparative to these little tiny blips on the map right here. So US 100 has recovered its local low, and a pretty significant one at that. So probably in the short term, we would want to see a retest of about 12,230 with a bounce if we want to get truly bullish. Now, ultimately, we do have to get back above 13,000 on the US 100 in order for us to get really bullish and assume the completion of this macro correction wave on the daily time frame. LTC is something that I kind of have my eye on as well. Obviously, on the macro, we have a gigantic A BC, calling for a re-entry point around $103. We're quite a bit away from that. But on the smaller time frames, all right, we're in a little bit of a different situation. If we do happen to put in a lower low than $64, that's a pretty good ABC. And that might coincide with the drop on BTC and Ethereum as well. So you can see that right here. We have uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. So we have A into a B wave, hopefully, into a C wave, hopefully. Now, $64 is a macro local low. If we look at the chart here, we can see that during the bull market, we had this pullback from $94 and we put in a downtrend low of $64. So we're sitting in that support region, which is a really good sign. And I would like to couple that with a long on LTC. LTC gets a lot of hate, and I understand why. You know, it didn't do fantastic during the bull market, but you have to think. All right, look at the gold and silver market. Gold is worth like $1,500, whereas silver is worth 26 to 40, depending on like what kind of fuckery is going on in that market. All right, so once the gold starts running dry, that's when people start switching over to the silver. All right, and Litecoin, like it or not, is that silver. All right, theoretically, let's say that Bitcoin gets to $10 million. All right, one Satoshi is going to be worth more than $1, so you can no longer devise it into cents. So it can't be used for smaller transactions, which it shouldn't be used anyways. So that's where something like Litecoin might come in, because Litecoin might only be worth $10,000, $100,000. But when you're buying at $64, $10,000 still sounds like a hell of a steal. So I'll take it. All right, I'm a little bit of a Litecoin fanboy just because of the speed and the security, just like Bitcoin. Oh, and they just added, I know Bitcoin had Taproot, and then LTC was like Mimble or something Harry Potter-esque for privacy. So, you know, they're adding, you know, stuff like Monero has, which obviously I still like Monero, but with the uptime and security of the blockchain that is, you know, the most solid out there. So, I think that pretty much covers it. Anybody's got any questions, I'll take them. But other than that, we chillax and wait for things to work themselves out. Right now, we're up 53% in an Ethereum short, and we're up 37% in a BTC short, and then we're up 106% in the BTC long. So hopefully I did this correctly to the point where like my Bitcoin long is not going to get stopped out, but I can take profit on my Bitcoin short, and then hopefully keep all the longs moving and cruising. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kite, but ain't Litecoin and BTC working just because they have early big projects? Of course. But they are the spawn. All right. And unlike humans, they don't die. So like, let's say you have the head of the family. All right. Typically, the head of the family is the head of the family until they die. But crypto doesn't die. And it's a matter of security. All right. When you have a blockchain that came out last year that hasn't really been tested to its limits like Bitcoin has. I mean, Bitcoin, say what you want about it, but the amount of transactions done on Bitcoin absolutely is gigantic and dwarfs every other blockchain out there. So I would say Bitcoin has proven itself wholeheartedly. Hey. Will you relax? Do it. This dog, man. Kai, can you please explain the math psychology behind ABC? I understand the ABC works, but I don't know why. My theory is that most people that come into the market that are brand new, they're taught that breakout trades are the way to success. And although that can be true depending on what market you're in, I would say 66% of the time it's not. So what ends up happening is, since we are in an over-leveraged market, all right, when we get to the top of a resistance and we get price action that goes past it, theoretically, we have a whole bunch of people that enter longs. And when you have a whole bunch of people that enter long in a very small pocketed area, it only takes one person with a big amount of money to go ahead and sell it, push it back maybe down like 0.5%. All right, that starts liquidating a lot of the overage leverage longs. And then when they get liquidated, when a long gets liquidated, they have to sell back into the market. So inadvertently, you are helping the side that you were going against. So the people that got liquidated during that 0.5% move, all right, get liquidated enough to force it down another 0.5%, and then another 0.5%, and then another 0.5%, and then you have these massive landslides to one side or another. All right, that's what I believe to be happening. Obviously, you have people's psychology as well. We're like, oh my God, it's coming down. I better close my long. And then they just help the price continue to come down. I just have one question. How do you make sure to enter? I know you always re-enter after being stopped out, but that is not always possible. No one's one of the community. I mean, speak for yourself. I mean, you have a phone. You have, alerts. You can set up trend line alerts on TradingView. I know Bybit, they just send me a little signal to my Apple Watch when I get stopped out. So I go, okay, I got stopped out. I go reset up my conditional, and I go on about my day. All right, now I'm playing with 1% stop losses, so it is a little bit more tedious, but you can use 2% stop losses. Ain't nobody stopping you. Kite, what are your thoughts on bullish div 1 hour BTC, Kite? Oh, let's see. Let's go to the bullish div on the 1 hour. I don't really care about divergences anymore. They work, they don't work sometimes. To me, there is none. Now over here there is, but I mean, we can already see a little bit of a reaction from that. Might be going, okay, well, your RSI doesn't look anything like mine, and that's for a good reason. All right, the RSI, if you leave it at the default 14, is over exaggerated. It's going to tell you a lot more stuff than actually needs to happen. All right, but if you're on the 125 RSI, you're looking at the price action that is actually worthwhile. So I'm sure if I go down to a 15-minute, we might see a bullish divergence coming off of this low and this low right here on this ultra small time frame. And like I said, all right, I do expect that there is possibly going to be a B wave creation out of this downtrend, and then another C wave coming in after that. Now, even on the 15-minute time frame, it's not showing me a bullish divergence. There we go. 10 minutes starts to show it. All right, so I have to go down to a super small time frame. All right, now if that was actually showing up the 1 hour 125, I would be. I don't think I would be concerned. Like I said, I don't care about divergences anymore. But like right here, look, we have a higher high and a higher high. All right. So if you were strictly basing your trades off of divergences, you would not be in a short right now because you would go, there's no bearish divergence here. So that's the thing. If you let it control you, it will. And you'll miss out on the good trades and only take the small trades. Go to the 1 hour and see if the 1 hour's got something. Nope, it doesn't. I do use leverage. I shorted 45,400 all the way down to 27,000 on 10x. Glorious trade. Hey, did you have any dreams last night? I think I did, but I already forgot them. I'm not quite sure what it was about. Huh. I know it was pretty crazy because I woke up in the middle of the night and I kind of like had to wait a little bit because I didn't want to go back into that one. But I don't recall what it was. Damn it. That sucks. We'll try again tonight. Well, on a serious note, did you try to long Ethereum at 2151? Yes, I did. I did. So it was a little bit of a weird situation because we had the smaller time frame short on Ethereum, and the macro time frame long on Ethereum, pretty much in the same exact area. So I did go long on Ethereum, and then I went short on it right here. All right, so green was my long, red was my short. It was a little bit of a weird situation, but I got stopped out one time on the long and no time on the short, so you love to see it. Saucy, I just answered your question. I do use leverage. How much was your first liquidation, Austin? Are you talking about like my first ever liquidation? Like the one that I have nightmares about and made me change the course of my trading career? Or are you just talking about, are you talking about getting stopped out on the recent trades? Because Mr. Kite don't get liquidated. I think the liquidation that I got on KDA the other day on accident was the first liquidation. Let's see. How long ago was that? That was my first liquidation in 1,000 days. Never again. Actually, that's a lie, because I did try to incorporate liquidations into my trading style, but it was just basically using the liquidation as a stop loss. It wasn't anything crazy. All right, liquidation to me is like you're losing way more than you should. All right, back then I did have a moment of time where I planned my liquidation to be 2% of my portfolio. I was arrogant. I thought I couldn't lose because I had an indicator under my belt that I thought made me Superman. And instead of refusing to take a loss like a dumb shit idiot, I kept DCAing my long in order to push my liquidation back. Eventually my liquidation got hit. I lost $200,000 and about 3 nights of good sleep. So that's why whenever Ryan does that, I cringe a little bit. All right, DCAing in leverage trading is the absolute devil. Don't do it. All right, there is a decent way to do it, but the benefits far do not outweigh the cons. Hey Kite, what is your thought process when there is a long setup and a short setup around the same area? Adam is a good example. Larger term long setup and short term short setup. Play them both, just like I did on Ethereum. Can't hurt you. Are you afraid of a little bit of loss? You afraid of a loss? You baby, you afraid of a little bit of loss? Hopefully that come. I'm not making fun of you like that. I just want to joke around. That's the thing. Most people are. They go like, oh, but I'm going to get stopped out an extra 2 times if that happens. Okay, so be it. All right, you have to take the chances. If you don't take the chances, you never make wins. So on ETH example, do you have different amounts on the macro long and local short? Nope, they're the same amount based off of 0.8% risk. Well, I'm hoping the market continues down, but short term I do hope that we have a little bit of an uptrend to form an ABC. So, all right, I'm looking to take profit around this area. All right, but I want price action to look like this when it does get down there. That way, I have that position to get into. Well, obviously, I'm already in a Bitcoin long, unless I get stopped out. But particularly on Ethereum, I want something like this. I can use that. Do you ever think twice and deleverage? No. You ever heard the term measure twice, cut once? It's the same thing for your trades. Right? You shouldn't measure once, cut, and then measure again and go, oh, I fucked up. Thanks a lot for answering the question. I figured there was no automated way a bot should be possible though. I mean, I think some people have tried, but I think the best bot would still require human interpretation. I think a bot where you tell the bot where the price action is, where it needs to go long and cut its losses, would be most beneficial. But an automated bot that can spot ABCs, enter for you, I don't think that's good for you, and I don't think that's good for your account. Did I get into the Luna short? No, fuck Luna. I haven't touched it with a 10-foot stick. Do you raise your leverage when you're heavy in profit to free up margin for other trades? No, because if I'm taking that many trades, there's a problem, right? Because I'm already only using about maybe 6%, 10% margin at the most of my account to take the trades. So if I am taking so many trades that I need to free up margin, that would be somewhere around 10 to 12 trades at one time on the board. And that is just way overdoing it. If you're at that level and you're doing that much crackhead stuff, you need to reassess. Okay, I work 12 to 15 hours a day, usually do everything from my phone besides at home looking at the market. Any advice in terms of stop loss? If I swap to 2 to 3%, just use less margin. Actually, I think, let's see. Let's draw it out on the calculator. So if you want to use a 3% stop loss, all right, you would be using about 5x leverage. So this is how I have my portfolio set up right now currently for inverse perpetual. So I'm using 6% as margin, 15% of that 6% as risk, which comes out to 0.9% of the total portfolio. And then if you wanted to just up your stop loss, it just changes your leverage. Since I use a 1% stop loss, I'm using 15. And now my account is worth about 6,800. Yep, 6,920 if we add that equity in. What about the larger time frame below 1,700? If it happens, it happens, and I am very grateful for that because that is a much larger setup than anything we got on the board right now. But until it happens, I have to rely on the ones that are created in the meantime, because we can't just assume that's going to happen. Like I said, I'm prepared for it on the board, most definitely. And that would allow me to get an inverse perpetual position deeper on Ethereum, and then as well as that, take that wonderful long position that is created. But right now, we're just chilling. I have a short position open covering, I mean, not even covering a loss. It's not even a hedge position on Ethereum. It's just extra money. So I don't feel like holding it all the way down, I'll then take the safe trade. Do I have a hodl bag? Yes, I do. I have a hodl bag that never sees the light of day because I'm too lazy to go grab it. Could you show one more some 1 minute time frame scalping with a paper trading account? No. All right, if you want, you can take what I'm doing on the macro time frames and extrapolate that down. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna have a good time. I'm trying to save you. You only trade ABCs? Yep. Keep it dumb, simple, stupid. Do you use channels or trend lines or patterns in your trades? I guess the only pattern I really use is ABCs. Now, I don't use trend lines, but I use trends. So trend lines can be kind of misconstrued. They are kind of like training wheels where they can help you identify trends, but really, I mean, like, you should just be able to spot them. Like, if you can't tell that starting from 1784 to 2143 is an uptrend, and then this is a downtrend and this is an uptrend, we got a problem. Now, if we do form a downtrend coming off of this right here, now this would turn into a full uptrend. And once again, what did we say yesterday? All right, Elliott wave is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I propose to just use ABCs. And we even talked about this setup yesterday. The fact that ABCs to the upside really are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 create an uptrend, 4 breaks it, 5 retests it, and then we see downside. Isn't that pretty cool? How that all came to fruition just like that. Repost. What is the significance of the number 125 on the RSI? Nothing like special. I just tried out different ones. So a friend of mine very early on in my trading career told me to try out the 250 because once again, it's about taking out all of the low level noise from any time frame and allowing you to see a bigger picture despite being on a smaller time frame. And I go, this is a little bit too much. So I tried 125 and I found that to be enjoyable because it wasn't too crazy and it wasn't too crazy. Makes sense? But there is no like significant magical Illuminati reason. Would you ever make a separate small scalp account for day trades? This is it. This right here. What we're doing is it. All right, come on. We took this trade last night and it's already up 50%. Like what? Like how much smaller of a time frame do you need? All right, it comes from this misconception that the more trades you take, the more money you're going to make, the richer you're going to get. It's not true. All right, we went from a $2,400 portfolio to $7,000 in less than a week because we were patient. All right, it took us a month. I mean, come on, guys. 3xing a portfolio in a month. If that doesn't tickle your jimmies, I don't know what can, but we need a reevaluation of how we think. And most of the time, it's not even, you can't even rationalize to yourself that you're making more money. It's usually just about the adrenaline rush, the thrill, the endorphins just swimming through your system, your knee bouncing underneath your desk because you're in some stupid trade. Don't do that to yourself. I've been there, done it. It sucks. This is a swing trade to you? A trade that has only been happening for less than a day? Oh man, oh man. No, 2,400. Not 400. Well, technically 400, but I did refill the account to 1,000. But that's over the course of 110 days. And that was done with like maybe 2 to 3 trades. I did not constantly re-enter and exit 1,000 different trades. It was a couple trades that I was patient with and they paid off. You don't have to take 500 trades a day, guys. It is bad for you. Your mental health, your account health, everything. It is a disease. Hey Kite, is risking 3% of account trade too much for ABCs? Yes, All right, unless you have proven that you have enough due diligence and patience to wait for the ABCs that matter. All right, if you're still playing on those smaller time frames, 3% is going to get you absolutely destroyed. So I'm not even immune to it. Back when we first made this challenge account, I started with $1,000. I was using like 3 to 5% risk. I was playing on stupid time frames, and I crashed the account within a week. Now, before I crash it, I got it up to 5,000, but it's a disease. You see the money start rolling in, and you don't stop. I could have easily taken that money, set it aside, and then lowered the risk, but I didn't. All right, no one is immune to it. The best scalpers are the ones that have been playing the macro for years, and they know how to incorporate the macro into their decisions on the micro. I doubt most of you here have done that. It's not a jab, it's a fact. All right? If you lose track of what the macro market is trying to tell you, you have no hope on the smaller time frames because you're going to be just as confused why price action is happening the way it's happening. All right? A really good example of how this can be used effectively, because it can, like you said, it can be used effectively. All right. On KDA, I looked at the macro and I said, okay, we have a macro local low at $1.40. So when we're sitting at $1.40 and the 15-minute time frame gives me this ABC position right here, I can take that small time frame position because it's incorporation with a macro local low. So a long on a smaller time frame from a macro level based on a macro setup. I took profit at 320. All right, that was 112% on 10x leverage. Made about 1,200%. A $150 margin trade. I walked away with 17 something. I forgot what it was. All right, so if you're going to play smaller time frames, you can do it. It's just you have to have insane practice understanding the macro. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt. All right, if you don't believe me, try it. Be my guest. Come back. Let me know how it went. All right. So, yep, I entered at $1.49, and then my exit price was $3.22. My margin was about $150, and I walked away with $17.31. Now, I did get liquidated once because my stop loss didn't get set because I was on my phone. And then before that, I lost about $250. So in totality, I think I only walked away with about $1,100 to $1,200 of net profit. But come on, that is still fantastic. Considering the fact that when I lost, I was only losing about $20. So my calculated risk was $15, but because it's a low liquidity market, losses actually came out to like 20 to 25. And also like a conception, not a conception, a concept that gets people in trouble is like yesterday during the live stream, someone goes, it's time to close your long and go short. All right. And they said that right here. All right. Why did they say that? Okay. I'm waiting for a bigger setup and I got it. And then I went short. All right. But you can see I'm still in a long, right? Because my long is all the way from down here. Right now, could it still get stopped out? Absolutely. But that's why we take hedge positions. I am not in this market to make the maximum amount of profit from every little move the market makes. I'm here for security of my funds, which ends up making me profit in the long run. Right? You don't have to close one trade to take another and take profit on that second one. So I'll continue holding this long. I'll take profit on my short. And if it keeps going down, so be it. I'm not sad. I'm not mad. I planned on it. I measured twice and I cut once. I know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm not willing to back out. Right? That's why you have to make things set in stone. I don't change my stop loss on the fly. I don't change my risk on the fly. I set up the trade. I let the trade play out. All right, if I lost a lot of money for no good reason, that's my fault. But that's why we don't risk a lot of our percentage of our portfolio. It's very personalized. So I use a 1% stop loss. So as soon as we go back below the A after putting in a C wave, right, I go ahead and I go short and I set up a 1% stop loss. But it's dependent on your lifestyle. If you can't sit at your computer and re-enter 5 or 6 times before the trade finally works itself out, or doesn't, because that is another option, use a 3% stop loss. Now, it is going to make you less money because it's a trade-off. If you're willing to lose money faster, aka amplifying the market and its moves, you'll make more money. But if you don't want to lose money as fast, then you will make less money because you are tightening the market respectively to your original position. So there is no safe and money, right? Now, through the actions I'm taking and where I'm taking my trades, that's where the safety comes in. But the fact that the trade is made is not safe, right? I'm amplifying the market by 10 times, but I'm willing to pay the consequences to reap the rewards. And through my other actions on the board, I can set myself up defenses. And that is what makes the security, not the trade itself. Now, the risk reward calculator allows you to make sure that you're not going overboard, but don't get me wrong, it's still risk. And it's still amplified risk at that. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It can cut you just as easily as it can be used as a weapon. Leverage is a good thing, but a bad thing all at the same time. It's a balance. The BT short you just took was also correlated with several great altcoin setups on 15-minute. IOTA, XCM, APY, all seem to have put in the C wave, are going down on OPC. Have a look. Cool. I'm not really concerned with most altcoins right now, but I'm glad that the market's lining up. What do you think about scalping with 5x leverage, but with heavier bags to lower risk on liquidation? I don't know why you keep talking about liquidation. You should not get liquidated. If you're getting liquidated, you're doing something wrong. Like me, I didn't double check that my stop loss was set. I was doing something wrong. You should not get liquidated. And your leverage doesn't matter. It is the risk from portfolio. All right, if I go ahead and use a 3% stop loss, I'm using 5x leverage, but I'm still willing to lose the same exact amount. But now I'm making less money. Because if I had a 10 risk reward ratio trade with a 1% stop loss, now I only have a 3.3. So I'm reducing my leverage by 3 times. Is there any advantage to using market orders instead of limit orders? No, there's actually disadvantages. So market orders, you're paying market fees. Limit orders, I don't know if they took it away, but you used to make a rebate fee. Now, the reason why I use market orders and suffer that consequence is because my strategy relies on a real-time creation of setups and then trigger when we have a rollback or roll up. All right, so for me, limit orders I can't really use because let me demonstrate on a chart. All right, so let's say that you have trader A who has a trading strategy where once they come up to a resistance, they immediately take a short position. Okay, they can use a limit order because they're not expecting it to go past it. All right, so they can go ahead and set their limit order up beforehand, and then it gets hit, and hopefully their trade setup works like this. All right, me, I do think that we have double tops kind of like that, but usually we have a little bit larger wick to the upside. So my thing is like, why take the extra entry immediately when you know that there's probably going to be a wick above it? So I go ahead, and once we get that higher high, it creates my A, B, C, and then as we come back underneath this resistance, that's when I take my trade. Now, could you do that on limit order? Yes, but you would have to have it come down, come back up, and then continue down. Which, yeah, it does happen sometimes, but not every time. Case in point, here, we did not have a retest of that resistance before we came all the way back down to 29,000. All right, so for me, I rather pay a little bit in fees. That way I can set up conditional orders that I don't have to worry about. It's give and take, equal and opposite. There is no free lunch. Okay, can you have a look at the 30-minute? There's an ABC to go long. I'm new and I would appreciate you having a look at it. Please explain. Yes, there is an ABC. Yes, you could go long on it if you want to. It's not financial advice. Me personally, I have a short from the top, which is an extremely larger ABC than the one that is currently opposing our will to the downside. So, if you take a long on BTC, which if you took it right now, you're doing a very bad thing because one, you're not even at your entry point, right? If you did not take your long from all the way down here, I don't know why the hell you would take it from up here. But this ABC could turn into a single uptrend. The long price action that is coming off of it, because of it, could turn into a B wave. And then we could have a C wave still forming a larger ABC structure, aka kind of like a 1-2 structure from Elliott wave. All right, so you gotta think a little bit ahead. You're getting lost in the sauce, my dude. Okay, what's the difference in the three options of conditional? Well, there's only two options. If you're talking about limit, market, and conditional, conditional is a separate option. These are all separate options. So within conditional, you have market and limit. All right. Market, I can set up the trigger price to be whatever I want. Once that trigger price gets hit, it puts in the trade that I want. All right. Limit, you have to hit a trigger price. So like, let's say price action is going down, down, down. It hits your trigger price, does not activate the trade, but it starts the trade in motion. Then your next trigger price, your limit price, would be above that trigger price. You enter, and then supposedly it starts to go down. It's a much more complicated price action mechanism than it needs to be. So, okay, I just use market. Ain't no reason to overcomplicate it whatsoever. And Tavern must never be exposed. But it was. Wait, actually, no, it wasn't. Now, if you're a scalper entering 17,000 trades a day, oh, you're going to get eaten alive by market fees. You can guarantee that. Okay, I'm a student of your ABC strategy and have been finding success with its simplicity. What are your thoughts on market imbalance and liquidity zones? Yes, they exist. If you understand the charts from a candlestick perspective, you can see those zones. All right. You don't need complicated systems like bookmap or footprint charts or XO charts. You don't need to cloud your judgment with 1,000 more tools that just cause you to think too rapidly. If ABCs are working for you, why add on stuff that's going to cause that to get skewed? Because then you're going to be second guessing yourself. Just like with the RSI. Like I said, there's been plenty of times where there's an ABC setup, but we don't have a bearish divergence. But I take the trade because the indicator does not rule out the fact that we have the setup. If it did, I would have missed tons of great trades. I would have missed the $45,000 short. I would have missed this short. And I'm sure the same goes for those XO charts. All right, because those things are built mostly to confuse you. All right, it's like people that fool around with their order books. They can flash buy walls and sell walls on your chart to make you think that you're making the right move. But the people that are actually making these moves, they have iceberg trades. You're not going to see them. You already asked this question. Are you listening to the live stream? He said, if I risk 3% of, listen, demo, I am talking to you. Listen. So if I risk 3% of the account for a like decent time frame, ABC, would it be better for the small account? 3% is too much unless you've been practicing for a very long time and you have a designated plan. I'm telling you right now, if you use 3%, you are going to get destroyed. Keep it to 1% or less. All right. Right now on my account, I'm using 0.8% to 0.9%. All right, giving myself a little bit of leeway for market fees. I understand you want to grow your account as fast as possible. Well, why are you in a rush? All right, the bull market is not for another 700, 800 days. We're going to go sideways and maybe slightly up. There is absolutely no rush. Now you might be going, well, there's a rush from my daily life. I need to feed my family. I need to do this. I need a better lifestyle. I'm living in poverty. If you let those outside stressors determine what your risk parameters are going to be, it is just as much as a recipe for disaster as anything else overcomplicated in this system. There can be no rush because it happens at everybody's own pace. It's a entirely different way to think that causes the profit, not necessarily the tools that you're using. Okay, what do you think about trading gurus or YouTubers in general? Like, do you think they will be more effective if they teach with real-time trading instead of past examples? Yeah. I feel like a lot of YouTubers spout a bunch of bullshit but never show the results. I show the results. And most of the time I talk about the positions that I'm going to get into before they even exist. So, for me, I'm not trying to scalp live on Livestream to prove a point. Because one, I don't think scalping is conducive to a healthy account. So I'm not going to promote that. All right, but these macro trades, I'll enter them live on Livestream if the setups are there while I'm live. If they're not there while I'm live, I don't really care. I'm not here to prove that I'm the best. So like right now, I'm sitting in shorts and longs. You can see where they're from. You can see that they're not based off of willy-nilly stuff. They're based off of actual setups. I stick to my strategy. So there is no deviation from plan. I sat in the $45,000 short, which was an ABC. All right, no deviation from strategy. It's an ABC just like every other one, except it was a massive one. All right, I sat at 45,420 all the way down to 27,000. So put my money where my mouth is. All right, if you look at a lot of these, leverage YouTubers that have a lot of money, they don't really put their money where their mouth is. They just throw some money down on the table, hope it goes their way, and then brag when it does. I don't move my stop loss. How long do you reckon this sideways accumulation will last? Would half a year surprise you? Absolutely not. I'm expecting around 2.5 years. So half a year would be. Actually, yes, half a year would surprise me because I think it's going to last a lot longer. So if it does surprise me, it's a good surprise. If it doesn't surprise me, I expected it. Trader Tom's the man. Absolutely the man. Rodrigo, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Demo, I'm sorry if I came off as rude. It's just, I'm trying to answer everybody's questions appropriately, and I feel like when I answer a question and then they ask again, I'm like, what's the point? What's the point of me saying the first one? But hopefully you got your question answered. Might have not been the answer you wanted. Usually, very rarely ever is. Why wouldn't you use 100% margin with a 0.9% stop loss instead and higher leverage? I did at one point. So at one point I used like 90% of my account as margin with very low leverage, and if the stop loss was what it needed to be, because at the time I needed to teach myself that when I got into a good trade, I shouldn't mess it up by DCing. So like that $200,000 loss I told you guys about, all right? That's exactly what I did afterwards. Every time like I need to teach myself something like patience with the chart, I devise like a strategy to do so. So to get out of the habit of DCAing losses, I would lock up all of my margin into one good trade with a good stop loss. Like I said, I'm not willing to get liquidated on my entire account here. Okay. All right. That way I couldn't do anything. I had to sit there on my thumbs and watch the market do what it did. Unless I got stopped out or I hit my take profit, there's nothing for me to do. And then later on, like the anxiety of, getting into a trade or watching a trade get to its take profit, I would open up the trade, I would put my hands on the table flat, I would have my chart full screen, and I would have to keep my eyes closed for 20 minutes every time I entered a trade. And unless I got a alert telling me that I got stopped out, I could not open my eyes. Because once you realize that you have absolutely no control whatsoever of what happens in the market, regardless of you're staring at it or not, it unburdens you. It's no longer a worry. As long as you know that you're doing appropriate risk and you have some sort of track record telling you that your strategy is provably profitable. Now, things can happen, markets can change. You shouldn't have anything to worry about. I like Alan Watts' thing where it's like, to worry is to have hubris, implying that you know more than the next guy. The only person that should be worrying is God, because he knows what's going on. You don't. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's like, it's okay to worry about stuff that you know. Like, I can worry about my health because I know I'm not healthy. And then I can make improving steps towards it. But, what someone's doing with their free time, I don't know what they're doing. So how am I supposed to be worried? Doesn't make any sense. Case in point, my sister just texted me. She said, so it looks like I should hold off on before buying Bitcoin. It made a big shift in the last 24 hours. And I just sold my stocks this morning. So what do you think? You know what I mean? A little bit of price action goes, you made a big shift. All right, if this is a big shift, she's got a lot more to catch up on. My TA before we shorted BTC was we had an uptrend, we had a downtrend, we had an uptrend, and we got back below the original uptrend. That was my TA. Do you think do you get excited to think how much wiser you'll be in the market considering how advanced you already are at a young age? It actually scares me. That's why I don't think I'm gonna trade forever. Maybe like macro investments, but I mean trading is aggressive. It's it takes a toll on your health. I think I've gotten to the point where like it's a good balance, but I do think it still puts stress on me sometimes. So I don't know. No, it's not that like I'm telling her to sell her stocks. We were at a family get together and she thought that she only had $24 in Robinhood, but it turns out that she actually had 600. So she was mad about finding free money. So we set it up for her to sell off 2 of her Apple stock, which comes out to about $300. And I told her to buy Bitcoin. But now she's second guessing buying Bitcoin because of this small drop we had last night. Like I just got 5 texts from her asking like, really? Like what? How often do you realize profits in USD cash and what percentage of the account do you take? Not a whole lot. I mean, I have nice things, I own nice things, but I don't live a lavish lifestyle. I don't need to be withdrawing, $20,000 a month from trading. I mean, I'm lucky enough to do this YouTube thing and the Patreon, and that pays my bills. I really don't have to withdraw much from crypto. So I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity that's, kind of like fallen in my lap here. But if push came to shove and like I didn't have a Patreon, I would only have to really withdraw about like maybe $4,000 a month in order to get by. And that's like the bare bones would be like $3,000, but that 1,000 is just for me to be dumb. And, I'm not good at cooking, so I end up ordering more DoorDash than I probably should, which costs me a lot of money. So, I mean, hey. Ocean Blue, what's going on? Technically, if we enter a long-ranging market, isn't it easier to trade often because price action will only bounce within the range? Yeah. So why don't we just play the top and the bottom of the range? We'll see how it goes. Technically, we're in a range-bound market between $30,000 and $69,000. That's a big range. A lot of money to be made. Seems like you're still trying to make the argument that I should take 5-minute time frame trades. I'm not going to fall for it. Been doing this too long. You can't sway me. I don't even know if we're still on carbon based here, to be honest with you. Oh, we are. I thought it switched over. I was about to start playing a whole lot of copyrighted music. I guess everything is. Let's switch it over now. Okay, when doing the ABC strategy, do you ever take trades at the end of a B wave and start of a C wave? Absolutely. Now, it usually happens on a lot larger time frames, and it doesn't always give me that option. But here's a really good example. All right. Let's go look at Ethereum on the 1 hour. All right. This is exactly what you're talking about. All right. So let's say price action put in a healthy uptrend right here. Okay. All right. Now, price action is putting in a healthy downtrend. Within that healthy downtrend, what do we see? All right. We see a downtrend, an uptrend, and a downtrend. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. I can conceptualize, because I see uptrend and I see downtrend, that possibly that this is going to turn into an A, a B, and a C. Now, I am still aware of the fact that we could turn into a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, and still put in a lower low, a larger ABC structure here, just like what's happening right now. But it doesn't always happen. All right. So if this is what I'm left with, I can take a long from the bottom of the B wave, which is, I didn't do this on Ethereum. I did take this long on Ethereum, but I did not take this short. All right. But this is exactly what we did on BTC and Ethereum. Okay. So right here, I took a long from 2,497. I got wicked out about 2 times right here, but then I re-entered because it's if this and that. I don't give up. All right. Market maker can't put me down. All right. And then from there, I let the market rip to the upside. All right. Once we put in a higher high, we now formed a large ABC structure. And from there, I go ahead, mark my horizontal out. I took this short right here, and I took one right here and one right here. But unfortunately, I got wicked out. I fell asleep by the time the market fell off a cliff. So I was only left with Bitcoin as a trade. It sucks. It happens sometimes. But Austin, how can we prevent that? Be better than me. That's how you prevent it. All right. But at the very, very tippy top of this C wave, what do you see? All right. Within the C wave, you see uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. So technically, you could have taken a short from the top of the C wave and a long from the bottom of the B wave. All right. Now, if you're trying to do that on a 5-minute time frame, you are going to have a bad time. All right. This is a 1 hour time frame over the course of months. All right. 2 months. All right. But it would have paid off tremendously. All right. I did the same exact thing on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, Bitcoin did not put in a higher high over here, but same exact structure, except I did not have to get wicked out on this long right here. I took a long on BTC from right here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And then right here is where I took my profits on that long. All right. Because the market gave me a new setup in order to go long if the market was going to continue. And then obviously on the larger time frames, we had A, B, C. And once we got back underneath this resistance, I was short. But we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes. Like I said, I just woke up like an hour and 30 minutes ago. So my entire waking existence for today has been on live stream. So I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to go do some stretches, some light exercise, and then order some food. I'll probably be on Discord like the past couple of nights playing Assassin's Creed. And everybody else, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got you, WS. I knew exactly what you wanted. But what about right now? Like right now, we have technically AB. It's too small of a time frame. All right, it's not worth your time. WS, control yourself, dude. Control yourself. I knew you were gonna be like, but what about like the time frame, like right now? That's why I use the other example to show you that multi-month trends will offer a lot better structure plus profit. I got you. All right, guys. Let's pick a song for today's outro. I keep forgetting to add songs to the songs I played on Livestream playlist. The one that I played today is by George the Poet. And it's Follow the Leader. I'll try to remember to keep adding these songs to the playlist. What we got today? Pretty sure Marlon Craft's album comes out in 3 days. So I guess I'm gonna play By Myself by Venge. I listened to this in the car yesterday, but I don't remember what exactly what the message was. I'm assuming it's like kind of like antisocial almost. But so if it is like offensive or if it's not your rhythm, I'm sorry. But I want to listen to it again myself as well. So I'm going to play this one. All right, let's load it up. I'll answer one more question. Kite, is there any books you recommend for learning how to trade? Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. All right. If you can read the Shobo Genzo, that will help you a lot. Autobiography of a Yogi. Harmonic Elliott Wave, a case for modification of R and Elliott's impulse wave structure. Heart, Breath, Mind is a good one. No, these are not all trading books, but trust me, they'll help. Hey, what's up? Where do you usually buy USDT to fund your Bybit account? I buy it from Bybit. I transfer Bitcoin or Ethereum to Bybit, and then I use the exchange function on Bybit. All right, that's the last questions I'll answer. Goodbye, everybody. I love you very much. Thank you for being here, as always. David, fist bump. Appreciate you. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and do the thing, and we'll be out. Let's see up close my tired eyes. I never know how to react when a grown man beatboxes in front of me. Bye!
Voices in my head I can't ignore, fueling all my doubts and my remorse. Still I feel lonesome, trapped inside myself. I don't wanna spend the rest of my days worry about the things I can't change, running from the trauma, still drinking all my problems away. I'm deafened by the sound
Baby, I just wanna lay it all on the floor right now. Tell me what you wanna do, 'cause either way you gotta choose, or leave me
J-Zach, you ready to rap some shit?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Can't stop till I could tell my mom I bought her a house. We really scrape by like whips when they bottoming out. Remember picking up the quarters that was caught in the couch. The rain sure feels good when you caught in the drought. Come on, man, what we talking about? All these rappers keep on popping out the trash like they Oscar the Grouch. The Polish in me make my name a little hard to pronounce. They were skeptical at first and then they started to bounce. I'm locked in, I've been up in the bar. Only shit I got to spare these days is in the trunk of my car. God really loves to shuffle my cards. Trying to have a breakthrough, man. It feel like I've been shoveling tar. You know that Jay-Z, AC ain't JV, boy. They used to play games with me like a KB toys. Damn, that's a throwback. This ain't about growth hacks, it's gradual. When it comes to getting my cash, I ain't casual. I gotta see it through, this ain't a magical thought. On the voyage, started mapping the spots I gotta take it to. Eyes on the treasure like a pirate ship. Then we'll evenly distribute how the pie gets split. Before the streaming airwave, I used to pirate shit and pray my computer got no viruses. I took hits, told them give me some more. Saw you cop a little chain, dog. That's not what that stimmy was for. Hey, do you, but I don't get the allure. I ain't one to be religiously obsessing over Christian Dior. This ain't Christian or religion, but I've risen before y'all to show you why I'm here and that you couldn't ignore it. Half the time they don't get the half of it, like I just popped up on accident. Come on, man. When Jerry speaks, you can go and learn a thing or two. I ain't staying long, I'm Tarzan, I'm just swinging through. It's fuck the accolades, but wouldn't mind a ring or two. I let the family eat, that's the type of shit a king will do. Real life is really on the fly, my boy. So please do not forget to look alive, my boy. And when I blow, you don't need to act surprised, my boy. I'm like Mario, I find my coins, so quit playing. A real writer likes to sharpen his sword, to take his shit high level, not just part for the course. That's why I'm working like a dog and no one's putting me on. If they don't hear me, then I'll scratch and I'll bark at the door. Swear I'm usually pretty calm until I start to record. Then I hit the on switch, it's like I started a war. Start the body, motherfuckers go and park at the morgue. That's just figuratively speaking, leave your jaw on the floor. Ain't nobody wanna do it, I'll do it first. Universal flow, phone ringing off new alerts. I need the numbers high like what oil and fuel is worth. Was made to see the world, I'm not talking about Google Earth. I'm really out here running the tab. I was working in Los Angeles, then flew to New York City. I just jumped in a cab. Star power, always something I had. I ain't gonna take the credit, to be honest, probably come from my dad. Half these rappers trying to sell you their story like it's a comic book, and they don't even care about how the product look. They hop on any trend that be popping and get a solid hook, and pray to label handbags like pocketbooks. Get in advance, but don't spend it irresponsibly. Bunch of material things, and they love taunting me. The house, cars, chains are your props, they're not your property. I plant seeds of growing myself, I'm master botany. One thing you can't say that I'm not is determined. It's a wild life, like I was on set with Steve Irwin, man, it's rest in peace. Trying to figure out the perfect set of keys. They tell me that life give you lemons, but all my lemons squeezed. Yeah, all my lemon squeeze. I was at the crib with my girl, we eating Lebanese. Rest in peace to Granny, man, I know that she in heaven free. If we talking goats, man, one day they gonna mention me. Sheesh. Come on, man, we out here.